ambiguity of the direction we should be headed in or the objectives we should be accomplishing, but a lot of times it's just because we don't seize proper initiative. When there's not zrizos, right, then we come up with a variety of different excuses, but if you lack, and if I fall prey to atzlos, sometimes again we translate as laziness, or maybe a better state is sometimes it's just passivity. We just become passive in life and don't take the reins the way we know we need to. Opportunity passes us by and we simply lose out on life. So the Ramchal continues. There are two parts to the midah of zrizos. Echad kodum haschalas hamaisa. One is what he calls pre-actional zrizos. This is very similar to what we saw with zihiros as well. So one is called pre-actional zrizos, the echad acharechein, and one is afterwards. Now we'll see what afterwards means. After what, we'll see what that means in just a moment. So let's focus on this. What is pre-actional zrizos? What does it mean to have zrizos, to have alacrity and zeal before you start acting? So this is incredible. He says, on a very basic level, pre-actional zrizos means do not allow your opportunities to pass you by. Literally means do not allow the mitzvah, do not allow the opportunity to become chametz. Right? Something becomes chametz through the mere passage of time. Right? Interestingly enough, you don't have to do anything for something to become chametz. You mix flour, you mix water, and then do nothing. And by simply doing nothing, the item becomes chametz. Pre-actional zehiros means do not be passive. Ella b'hagia zmana, o behizdamna lefanav, o ba'alosa b'machshavto. But rather, again, when the moment presents itself, or when you have a thought to do something, Yemaher yachish ma'aseu le'achos ba v'la'asososa. We'll say incredibly profound advice. Sounds so simple, but I think all of us know sometimes becomes the hardest advice to actualize. When an opportunity presents itself, when something good comes about, when the thought to accomplish something comes up, Yemaher yachish ma'aseu le'achos ba v'la'asososa. Do it. Do it. V'lo yaniach zman lizman sheishar bein time. Do not allow time to pass. If you have a machshava to do something, if an opportunity presents itself, grab it. Do not allow time to pass. Why? Listen to this phrase I will say. Ki ein sakana ki sakanaso. Because do you know the greatest danger in life is not seizing your opportunities. Not seizing your opportunities. Because if you wait, asher hinei kol rega shemischadesh, yuchal lehischadesh ezo ikov lema'aseh. The Ramchal here says something very profound. Because every moment you wait is another moment where another possible obstacle could come about, which prevents your performance of your good deed. In other words, says Ramchal, sometimes the passage of time is in and of itself the greatest danger to our self-actualization. If there's something that needs to get done, an opportunity that comes about, a mitzvah that needs to be performed, do not wait. And again, I will say, this is very important. Why? Why not? Why not wait? I'll get to it in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes, in 50 minutes, in 2 years. Because look at his words. Ki ein sakano ki sakanaso. There is no greater danger in life than waiting. Because every moment you wait is another opportunity where something else could come up to prevent you from accomplishing the things you know you need to accomplish. Va'alamitas zehadavar ha'irunu. Zichron levracha. The rabbis warned about this. Ve'inyan hamlocha shlomo shamar David lebenayo va'oradatem oso el gichon. So listen to this. When it came time to coronate Shlomo, so David HaMelech says to Yehoyada, to Benayo, go and take him down to the Gichon. Right? The Gichon is the spring. Is the spring in Yerushalayim by which they would go ahead and anoint kings. Or say, The incredible part is, this is tomorrow's daf. This is mamish tomorrow's daf. That says, he says, Amen, Ken Yomar Hashem, Amru Zal, Pirchas B'Shem V'Chanan Datzipori, V'lo Kvar Ne'emar, Hine Bein Nolad Lach, Hu Yihya Ish Menucha, Ela Harbe Kategoren Yamdu Mikan Va'ad Gichon. So what's happening over here is as follows. David declares that Shlomo is going to be his successor. He tells Benayo, quick, take him down to the Gichon and anoint him. The question that the Gemara, that the Medrash has on David HaMelech is, I don't understand. God has already declared that Shlomo is going to be king. If God has already declared that Shlomo is going to be king, what's the urgency in getting him down to the Gichon? Why now? Why now? Because David HaMelech understood that a lot of things get in the way of destiny. And what's the thing that primarily gets in the way of destiny? Time. If you don't act quickly, if you don't do what has to get done now, things have a way of spiraling out of control. Al-Kin Yisiru Zichronim Livracha Ushmartem Es HaMatzos. Remember again, here the Medrash says, you shall guard the matzos. And remember again, the Medrash has an alternate reading of this. It's not Ushmartem Es HaMatzos, but rather what? Ushmartem Es HaMitzvos. Mitzvah haba liyadecha al tachmitzena. If a mitzvah opportunity comes your way, do not allow it to become chametz. I will say, these are things we say all of the time. Things we say all of the time. And the truth is, again, as Ramchal already said in his introduction, you will find very few chidushim in this sefer. But sometimes it's the very things which seem so obvious or sound so obvious, which are sometimes the most difficult to actualize. Don't wait. If there are things, we'll say, how many times in life, just on a very simple level, how many times in life, I don't mean like dramatic things, but is there something I had to do, something on my to-do list, and I say to myself, okay, I'm going to get to it. And then what happens? I forget about it. I just forget about it. And the week comes to a close, and so I never did it. It's not a major life thing. It's not going to change the trajectory of mankind. It's nothing major, but interesting. It was important. I never got to it. Had I just jumped on it at the time when I remembered it, I would have gotten it done. But I didn't. And I will say, in that moment, most of us pledge to ourselves, you know what? When I have in mind to do something, I'm just going to do it. Instead of saying I'll get to it, or instead of just writing it down, leaving myself a voice note, or whatever the million things I do, a post-it note to remind ourselves, how about instead of reminding myself, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. It's so easy. It takes 30 seconds to actually get the thing done, instead of the 45 minutes I spend over the course of the week reminding myself to do that thing I really should be doing. And we say it, and we say it, and we say it. Sometimes we actualize that advice, sometimes we don't actualize that advice. Notice what Ramchal says, how much more accomplished we all would be in life if when I had the machshava to do something, I just did it. Because Ramchal says so many opportunities in life fall by the wayside simply because I don't seize the opportunity when it comes to my hands, when it comes to my mind. So we'll stop over here for today, but this is the section that the Ramchal calls pre-actional zihirus. That when the thought to do something comes up, jump on it, do it, execute with alacrity, execute with zihirus. All right, we'll stop here. Shkoyach. All right, Rabbi, say good morning. A lot to do today, and incredibly excited that I have to tell you, this whole week is mamish filled with whoever thought that Kerisos could be so much fun. I'm just saying, mamish Kerisos filled with incredible Gemara. So we'll say, let's begin. Today's daf is, hey, we are picking up at right after the period. 4 lines are from the bottom, last one on the line, Amar Rabbi Ila. Our shiurim this month are dedicated by Yonah Shashi Ehrenfeld in memory of Yonah's grandfather Joseph Ehrenfeld, Yosef ben Shmuel Zichron Livracha, as well as Ed and Faith Wolf in honor of the yahrzeit of Ed's father Cyrus of Shalom and Svi. We hope that on the merit of our Talmud Torah and Neshamos will have an aliyah and the family's ein nechama. With that, let's begin. A lot to do. Amar Be'ila. So we'll say first a continuation of yesterday's sugya. Amar Be'ila. Achal meiser dagon v'siro sheyitzar lo kikar shalosh. We'll say if a person eats meiser sheni outside of Yerushalayim, and a person eats meiser sheni of grain, tirosh is wine, yitzhar is olives, olive oil. Person eats 3 different types of meiser sheni all outside of Yerushalayim. Now remember again, halacha l'maisa, you have to eat meiser sheni in Yerushalayim. So I ate meiser sheni outside Yerushalayim, and I ate all 3 types. What's the halacha? Lo kishalosh. You get 3 sets of malchus for 3 prohibitions. I says the Gemara, generally like we saw in yesterday's sugya, you don't get independent malchus for a lav that is expressed collectively. Shiny hacha de miasri cry. But in this case is different. Why? Because here the psukim are going out of their way. There's a yitur. There's an additional part of the pasuk. It's unnecessarily verbose, and therefore it's coming to teach you that there's independent liability for each separate type of meiser sheni. How so? Michti. Kasav Rachman Leviachal National Kecha Meiser Degan Chavisosh Chavisar right bifnim in Bachutzlo. So Torah says you have to eat your meiser sheni lifnei Hashem Elokecha. So what does lifnei Hashem Elokecha mean? Before Hashem your God. Before Hashem your God means in Yerushalayim, not outside. So Lamli the Kasav Rachman Lo Sucha Lecha B'Sharecha Masar Degan Chasirosh Chavisarecha. So we'll say, why does the Torah have to then go ahead and say again, you cannot eat within your gates the meiser of your grain, your wine, and your olives? So why does that have to say it again? To which the Gemara says, Lachalik, to teach you independent liability for the consumption of the different types of meiser sheni. That's what it's coming to teach me. Independent liability for consumption of wine meiser sheni, grape meiser sheni, olive meiser sheni. To which the Gemara says, Imeahu, supposed to therefore to teach me that if you eat these 3 different types of meiser sheni, halacha l'maisa, you are chayiv 3 times. So the Gemara says, 1 second. Imeahu, hava min hanmili basei, ava balav, emalo. I might have thought independent liability is that I violate an asay, maybe not a lav. Therefore again, amatu lahachi, kasav rachman top of hey, lo suchal, le'ukma balav. Therefore, the extra pasuk comes to teach me that if indeed you eat the 3 different types of meiser sheni outside of Yerushalayim, you will be chayiv an independent lav for each of those acts. V'adayin lav shebechlalosu. But we'll say, nevertheless, this is a collectively expressed lav. And did we not say that in general, when you go ahead and you have a collectively expressed lav, you don't have independent liability? Pasuk could have just said a general statement. Right? You cannot eat them in your gates. Why does it have to specify each independent type of meiser sheni? Ultimately, it was like to give you a separate liability for the consumption of each different type of meiser sheni, and therefore to teach you about say halacha l'maisa, if you eat meiser sheni of grain, wine, and grapes, grain, wine, and olives outside of Yerushalayim, you will be chayiv a separate set of malchus for each of those infractions. Good. On Rabbi Yitzchak, ha'ocha lechem kali v'karmel lo kegimel. It was like chadash. Chadash, the halacha is you cannot eat of the new crop of grain until after you bring the karban ha'omer. If you eat it before the karban ha'omer, then what? You are in violation of consumption of chadash, new grain. So now the Gemara tells you as follows. If you eat 3 different types of chadash, then halacha l'maisa, you are chayiv 3 different times. What are the 3 different types of chadash? Lechem. So lechem is bread. Shabbos like kali literally means toasted kernels, and karmel means plump kernels. So if you eat these 3 different types of grain, you are chayiv 3 independent times for chadash. So the Gemara says, 1 second, but didn't we say before that halacha l'maisa, you are not chayiv for a lav shebechlalos, or as we'll say, remember again, lav shebechlalos means anytime you have a lav where multiple pieces are, or multiple parts of the law are expressed jointly, we normally assume that is there to teach us that there's only one prohibition, even if you violate multiple different things. Shiny hachar demiyaser krai. Supposed to hear it's different. Why? Because the pasuk is clearly expressing itself in a way where it's unnecessarily verbose. We generally assume that if the pasuk is unnecessarily verbose, it's to teach you independent liability by the disparate parts. To which the Gemara says, why is it verbose? So the Gemara says, Lema kra lechem v'neilaf kali v'charmel mine, because the pasuk could have just said that you're chayiv for chadash by bread, and I could have learned out both toasted and plump kernels from that. To which the Gemara says, no, you couldn't. And I'll tell you why. I would have said bread is different. Why is bread different? Ultimately, again, because bread is subject to challah, whereas the grain kernels are not. In other words, the obligation of challah. So the Gemara says, well, if that's the case, nichtov kali v'lo nichtov lechem, v'neilef mikali lechem. So if that's the case, says the Gemara, just write kali, right? Just write toasted kernels, and I could have learned out the chadash liability for lechem from that. So the Gemara says, v'neilef mikali lechem mikali lo asi. You can't learn out lechem from kali. Why not? Mishum de kali isei be'enei, lechem lo isei be'enei. Because they both say the kali, those kernels, the toasted kernels, are intact grain. Lechem is not intact grain. To which the Gemara says, Carmel mikali lo asi. Similarly, I could not learn out carmel, which are the plump kernels, from the toasted kernels. Why? Mishum de kali nisra be'etzel menachos. Because they both say kali can be used by menachos and carmel cannot. Carmel lo nisra be'etzel menachos. Nichtov carmel v'neilef lechem v'kali minei. So let the pasuk just say carmel and learn out lechem and kali from that. Igul mifrach malak carmel shakin lo nishtana mebriyaso. Carmel is different to Rabbi said because it is still in its original form. So the Gemara says min chad lo yalfi neilef chada min train. So now I understand. I can't just write one and learn the other two from that. Maybe I could write two and learn the remaining one from those two. So which one are we going to write? Lo nichtov kra lechem. So leave out lechem and just write kali v'karmel. V'neilif mikali v'karmel. Ikal mifrach. There's a pircha. Mali kali v'karmel de islun be'inon. Both say here's the difference. Kali and karmel are both intact grain kernels. Lechem is not. Lo nichtov kra karmel. V'neilif mi lechem v'kali. Leave out karmel and learn out lechem and kali. Ikal mifrach mali lechem v'kali shekin nisrabo eitzel menachos. You can't do that. Why? Because ultimately, again, lechem and kali are shaykh to menachos and carmel is not. Amalach Rabbi Yitzchak lo nichtov kra kali v'neilef mi lechem v'karmel. Leave out kali, learn out from lechem and carmel. So my parachta. So what's your pircha? I parachta mal lechem shekin yitzhabe eitzel chala. So if you're going to say, well, lechem has a different thing because it's shaykh to chala. Carmel yochiach. So carmel is shaykh to menachos. V'yushum de carmel lo nishtana mibriyaso. And maybe you'll say that carmel ultimately again is different. Why? Because it hasn't changed form. Lechem yochiach. So bread could prove that it does. It's that even if that rule doesn't apply, it's still shaykh. Hilchach loke dimiyaser. So we'll say at the end of the day, the point that the Gemara makes is you see that ultimately the pasuk needed to write all of them halacha l'maisa. But once the pasuk is writing all of them, it's also to teach you independent liability. And therefore halacha l'maisa, if you were to eat chadash of lechem, kali, and carmel, you would in fact be chayiv 3 different times. Ve'ima kali demiyaser mechayiv chada akulhun mechayiv chada akul mechayiv chada. Or maybe you could say like this: maybe kali is the extra one. So if you eat kali, you're chayiv. But for the other ones, lechem and carmel, even if you eat both of them, you're only chayiv once. Imkein nichtov kra lechem carmel v'kali. Inami nichtov kali v'lechem v'karmel. Amai kasav likali be'emtza. Why does it put kali in the middle? Hachi kamar lechem v'kali nechayiv v'karmel nechayiv v'kali. We'll say ultimately to teach you that halacha l'maisa in any variation I am chayiv. So Rabbi says, so bottom line, the point that the Gemara makes over here is that all 3, lechem, kali, and carmel, were all necessary. Once they're all necessary, what's the takeaway message for me? That if I go ahead and I eat of chadash, of lechem, kali, and carmel, then what? I am chayiv 3 independent liabilities. So we'll say, so you begin to see a developing theme over here, which is on one hand, although we accept the concept of ein lokin alav shebechlalos, that there are circumstances in which you have a lav, a collective lav that is expressed as one entity, where you will only get one set of malchus, even for multiple infractions. In these psukim that the Torah is teaching us, these cases are different, because even though you have multiple lavin expressed within one pasuk, the Torah is going out of its way to phrase it in a way which teaches me multiple liabilities. Good. Am Rabbi Yanai. What's an interesting case? Rabbi Yanai says, never take gezer shavas lightly. I will say, now what does that mean? So Rabbi Yanai says, essentially you might think that gezer shava is not a real drasha. Right? You find one word here, you find one word there, you make a halachic bridge between the two cases. Don't take that lightly. How so? Shari pigol echad megufei Torah, because they're all say, for example, pigol, the concept of pigol. Remember again, pigol means the Kohen has a flawed machshava during one of the avodas that renders the carbon unfit. So echad megufei Torah v'lo limdu akasav elam gzeir shava. Torah, we only know about the liability for pigol from a gzeir shava. How so? Dam Rabbi Yochanan, Tani Zavda bar Levi, ne'emar lahalon va'ochlav avono yusa. It says over here, the pasuk says, those who eat it will bear their iniquity. V'ne'emar kan va'nefesh ha'ocheles mimena avonot yisa, ma lahalon kares. Just like over there, it's talking about kares. Afkan, so too by pigol, it's talking about kares. So what do you see? You learn kares liability for pigol from where? From a gzeir shava. So from here you see that gzeir shava is serious business. Amar b'simoy, the olamati gzeir shava kalabei necha. We'll say first white line, Hamad Aleph. So now Rabbi Simoy says a gzeir shava should not be kalabei necha. It should not be treated lightly in your eyes. Why? Shari no sar echa migufei Torah. No sar, Rabbi say, is a very important halacha. V'lo limdu akasav elam gzeir shava, and we only know about the liability of nosar from a gzeir shava. Maihi yalif kodesh gzeir shava of kodesh va'ochlav avono yisa kias kodesh Hashem chilel uksiv v'saraftas hanosar ba'ish ki kodesh. So we'll say again, you learn out the liability of nosar, right? Ultimately again from a gzeir shava. Amar Abaye, the olam alti gzeir shava kala be'inecha. We'll say another case. Don't let gzeir shavas be simple in your eyes. After all, shari bitame anusaso. We'll say the halacha of an interesting case of a man who violates a woman. She becomes pregnant. He then violates the daughter from that act. So so a man violates a woman, again, daughter from the woman he violated, and then violates that girl. Has relations with that girl. Has relations with his daughter. So what's the halacha? We'll say. Ultimately, again, so that is an Isser Kares. Heinen Gufei Torah. V'lo limdu akasav elam gzeir shava. Also, how that's Isser Kares? I know from gzeir shava. D'amar Rava Amar li Rabbi Yitzchak bar Avdimi Asya heina li Yisura. Asya zima l'sreifa. Sorry, not Kares, but Sreifa. So we learn out that is, again, I will say, even though that's a case of his daughter, we need a different limud over there, because that is a daughter from a case of an Isra. That is a daughter from a case, ultimately, again, of Anusa. So again, Havaminas, I might not have thought that that's the same din of incest. Therefore, again, the Gzeir Shava teaches me that it is subject to Sreifa. Amravashi, Alti Gzeir Shava Kalabeinecha. We both say, don't let a Gzeir Shava ultimately, again, be light in your eyes. Shar Niskalim, Heinen Gufei Torah, because we both say the concept of Niskalin. Others will say the idea is, interestingly enough, the most prevalent death penalty that the Torah espouses is skila. Now, not every time there's a chi of skila is a chi of skila mentioned. Sometimes the lashon that the Torah just has, ultimately again, is demehem bam. So the Gemara says whenever it says demehem bam always means skila. To which the Gemara says, "V'lo limdan akasa elam gzeir shava desanya ne'amar kan demehem bam v'ne'amar ba'ovi yedoni demehem bam ma lahalon b'skila afkan b'skila." So just like by Ovi Yedoni, demehem bam. Rabbi said the Ovi Yedoni are the necromancers, right? So again, just like Ovi Yedoni, ultimately demehem bam. So skila. So to any time you see demehem bam, it's skila. Good. So now we begin the next sugya. So the Mishnah said one of the isurim of kares is someone who goes ahead and makes shemen hamishcha. So we'll say, so if you decide in your home to go ahead and make anointing oil, that is aser and has a chiv kares. Taner Rabbanan, hamafatim es hashemen lilmod bo or lemosel etzibar pater. We'll say if a person goes ahead and makes shemen hamishcha, anointing oil, in order to learn the trade, right, of making anointing oil, or to make it in order to give it to the tzibur, pater, you are exempt from liability. Now again, if you notice, we'll say we don't encourage people to do this. We don't want people doing this. But if you did it, you're pater, right? The only time where there's liability is if you make shemen hamishcha, why? For your own personal use. Lasuch chayiv. If you make shemen hamishcha in order to anoint yourself, right? In other words, not to anoint yourself as king, but to go ahead and just like to smear it on yourself, right? Ultimately, again, then you are chayiv. V'hasach mimenu pater. I will say, interestingly enough, if you did not make the shemen hamishcha, but someone else made the shemen hamishcha, and you anointed yourself with it, you smeared it yourself on it, your pater. Why? Lefi she'in chayavin ela al sichas shemen hamishcha she'asa Moshe bilvad. Because amazingly enough, the liability for smearing yourself with anointing oil is only with the anointing oil that Moshe Rabbeinu himself made. We'll say this is incredible. Amar Mar, Lil Modbo, Almanas the most Tzibur Pater Minan. We'll say, how do I know that if I made shemen hamishcha with the intention to just learn the malacha or to give it over to the tzibur, that I'm pater? Asya maskunto min b'maskunto dictores. So we'll say, I learned out shemen hamishcha from Ketores. Uksiv legabe Ketores. And by Ketores it says, Lo sa'asu lachem. Pasuk says by Ketores, by the incense, you cannot make Ketores for yourself. Lachem udaser. It's also to make Ketores for your own personal use. Aval amosro letzibur pater. But I will say you can make Ketores in order to give it over to the tzibur. So we make a gzir shava from Ketores to shemen hamishcha. Just like by Ketoros, you can't make it for yourself, but if you make it for the tzibur, you can give it to the tzibur. So too, by shemen hamishcha, you can't make it for yourself, but if you made it for the tzibur, you can give it over to the tzibur. So gabi shemen nami, the most for the tzibur pater. I v'tehadar Ketoros v'nelef mishemen. So why don't we then go back and learn out Ketoros from shemen hamishcha, and to say as follows: Mas shemen ki mefatim lechatzoin pater. Just like by shemen hamishcha, if you only make a half measure, you are pater. In other words, if you only make a half measure, av Ketoros nami ki mefatim lechatzoin pater. So too by Ketoros, if you only make a half measure, you should be pater as well. Alama amarava Ketoros shepitma lechatzoin chayiv shem shepatla lechatzoin pater. Yet why does Rava say that if you make a half measure of Ketoros, you're going to be chayiv, but yet a half measure of shemen hamishcha, if you made a half measure, you're pater? Amar lecha Rava, here's the difference. Gabi shemen ksiv obimas kuntolo sasu kamohu. Because by shemen abosei, what's the halacha? By shemen the pasuk says, and in its measurement you shall not make it. Kamohu da'asar. It's only making shemen hamishcha in the exact measurements that it was made by Moshe Rabbeinu that you can't do. Aval chetziv shapir. But if you want to make a half measure, it's fine. Gabi Ketoros tichsev v'Ketoros asher te'asa kol asiya diktoros. Efshar demaktir prashachar zepas ben Abraham. Both say by Ketoros it says asher te'asa. Any Ketoros that you will make will be aser. Right? Ultimately, again, kol asiya. Any making of Ketoros is going to be aser. Both say here's the fundamental difference. Because remember again, Ketoros itself was offered up in half measures. Half of it was offered up in the morning, half of it was offered up in the afternoon. Therefore, halacha l'maaseh, even if you don't make a full measure of Ketoros, but only a partial measure, that will be aser as well. Let's say here we go. Tana Rabbanan, shemen hamishcha. What was the anointing oil made of? Mar durar hemeos. I will say you took this mar durar 500. Now, what this 500 means is you took the weight. You took mar durar in the weight of 500 silver shkalim. That's the amount of mar durar that you took. Mar durar is the spice. Kida hemeos. This kida spice, 500 shekels of weight of it. Kinmon bosem hemeos. Kinmon bosem 500. Uknei bosem chamishim umasayim. And this knei bosem 250 shekel weight. We'll say these are the different spices. Nimtzu kulam, when you put everything together, you have how much weight? Kulam elef ushvamios v'chamishim. We'll say you put all this together, and what do you have? 1,750 silver shekels worth of these spices. In other words, not value, but weight. To which the Gemara says, okay. And it will say, even without taking off our shoes, Tana Minyana Kashal, and I could have figured it out. I could have done that math, right? Why is it that ultimately, again, the Tana feels the need to give me that number? So Tana Akakashile. So we'll say, here's what the Tana was bothered by. The Gemara says, Bosem Kikinman Bosem. So we'll say, I might have thought that the Bosem should be like the Kinman Bosem. Ma Kinman Bosem, Ma Chatzisa, Bechamishum Umasayim, Af Kine Bosem, Ma Chatzisu, Chamisho Masayim. How they train apayim? Because they'll say maybe ultimately what? Maybe when the Gemara just said before that Knei Bosem was 250, maybe it meant that 250 was part of the measure, but in reality, like the other spices, you used a full 500, which would bring up the total weight to 2,000, not to 1,750, and the Torah is just giving me the partial weight, or not the Torah, but the Gemara is giving me only the partial weight of one of the spices, to which the Gemara says, Kamash Malon, that's not, I'm sorry. So therefore the Gemara says, no, it was 1,750, that for this Knei Bosem, it was only 250 silver shkalim weight, right? It wasn't a full 500. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's only giving you the partial weight. So the Gemara says, Imke nichtov kra kinmon bosem uknei bosem mechza umechza chamishim umasayim. The pasuk should have worded it differently. The fact that the pasuk worded it in the way that it did indicates to me that what? That the knei bosem had a different amount than the other spices, and it was only 250 silver shkalim worth. Amar li Rabbi Abaye, kishu shokel bechreyahu shokel, o ba'ayin ba'ayinu shokel. So this is actually a very interesting question. When you're measuring out the spices, are you exact? That's the ayin ba'ayin, or do you add in a little extra spice? Right? Here's the fundamental shayla. Because obviously, what you're doing is you're weighing out the spices. So how do you weigh out the spices for the ketores? Is it ayin ba'ayin exact, or do you add in a little extra spice for the ketores? To which the Gemara says, Amar le Rachmana, the pasuk says, Amar le Rachmana kasav bad bebad va'at amet becher. Both says, so the pasuk bad bebad literally means 1 to 1, which both says sounds like that the measurement for ketores is exact, and you're going to suggest that we add in a little extra. But Rabbi Yehuda said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu yodeh Kerisos. The Rebbe Shalom knows if you put in a little extra. So we'll say, so when Rabbi Yehuda said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows to put in a little extra, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows the difference between people who just satisfy the core obligations versus people who go a little bit above and beyond in their Yiddishkeit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows who puts a little extra spice on the scale. Alma, this buachres. Both you see from that statement that when measuring out the Torah spices, there was an idea ultimately of adding on a bit extra of the spice. Ela Amrav Yehuda, the kinmo bosem, amai maisi machatziso the chamesh meos chamishum masayim bechazimna, v'chamishim umasayim bechazimna, kevan de kulun hemeos havyon, nesi hemeos abasachos. We'll say, so for example, the Gemara says, why is it by kinmo bosem? We brought 250 at one point, 250 silver shkalim weight in one shot, and 250 at a different part. To which the Gemara says, Shma minami d'kamaisel kimam bosem b'trei zimni hechreya de'ispei v'hakadosh baruch hu yodea b'hechreos. We'll say, so it must be that the fact that some of these spices were brought in two parts indicates to us what? That when measuring them out, there was an inyan to put on a little bit extra of the spice. Because the Kadosh Baruch Hu knows when you put on a little extra of the spice. Umay bad bebad. So we'll say, okay, so when measuring out the spices, I know I'm supposed to add a little extra. And we'll say that becomes a metaphor for your Yiddishkeit. Right? When measuring out your obligations, don't just give HaKadosh Baruch Hu the exact amount of your obligations, but add on a little bit to your Yiddishkeit. Push yourself a bit more. Give the Ribbon Shalom a little bit more than what you have to give him. So what about Lashon bad bebad? We'll say bad bebad sounds exact. Amravina shlo yaniach mishkal b'mishkal v'yishkal. We'll say, so Ravina says what it means is like this. Interesting, when measuring out the spices, we don't measure spices against spices. So we'll say, you might have said like this: after I measured out 250 shekel weight of kinmon bosem, I'll use that as the countermeasure for the other 250. That we don't do. That in general, by the way, is a din by kodshim. You don't use consecrated items as a counterweight, right? Halacha l'maaseh, that's considered to be a bizayon kodshim. So when we're measuring out these spices, you don't use one set of spices as a countermeasure for the other. That's bad bebad. Use regular weights and measures to measure others as well. I will say, bottom line for the resolution of that, we see that in measuring out the spices, we are not exact, but rather we add on a little bit of additional spice. Tan Rabbanan. We'll say now we get into some beautiful, beautiful Gemaras. Tan Rabbanan. Shemen HaMishcha she'asa Moshe b'midbar. Moshe, the anointing oil that Moshe Rabbeinu made in the desert. So the Gemara says, Mishalko Eikarin, Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. So I says, so what did he do? Moshe Rabbeinu took the roots, he cooked up the roots, and from that, of these spices, and from that he was able to extract the Shemen HaMishcha. Amar Rabbi Yossi, what are you talking about? Valo laso chai karn eno sipek. There wasn't enough lava, so we know how much Shemen HaMishcha Moshe Rabbeinu produced. As we're going to see, it was a relatively small amount of anointing oil, and it wouldn't have been even enough oil to cover the roots of all of the plants he needed in order to produce the Shemen HaMishcha. So how did he make the Shemen HaMishcha? This is incredible. Ketzaros, so we'll say, what did he do? He brought the spices, V'shalkom. The first thing he did is he soaked them in water. Now the reason he soaked them in water, you're going to see, is because he wanted the roots themselves, the spices, to become saturated with water. And what happens? V'hitzif aleim shemen hamishcha. He poured oil over the roots. Now because the roots were saturated with water, they would not absorb the oil. V'kalat es hareach. Then as a result, what happens by pouring the oil over the roots? So the roots themselves absorbed the fragrance. The oil itself absorbed the fragrance of the roots without being absorbed into the roots. V'kipchu. And then ultimately, again, he wiped off the oil from the roots. And Rabbi said that was the Shemen HaMishcha. Pouring oil over these roots, these spice roots, saturated with water so they wouldn't absorb the Shemen HaMishcha, or the shemen, wiping off the oil from the roots. That was Shemen HaMishcha. Amr Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda said as follows: was there only one miracle of the Shemen HaMishcha? This is incredible. There were many, many miracles associated with the Shemen HaMishcha, with the anointing oil of Moshe. So mitchilas avat sofo lo haya ela yud beis lugin. First of all, say there was only 12 lug of Shemen HaMishcha. Moshe Rabbeinu produced a relatively small amount of Shemen HaMishcha, and yet what? Ubo nimshach hamishkan, the kelav, va'aron ubanav kol shiva simei amiluim. Bless you. And I will say, yet again, there was enough of that oil to do what? To anoint the mishkan, all of its utensils, Aaron and his sons, all 7 days of the inauguration. Ubo nimshchu kohanim gidolim umalochim, v'kulo kayim va'asilavo. And I will say, there was enough of that oil to anoint all kings, all Davidic kings, all Kohanim Gedolim, and by the way, they're still left over for Mashiach. So we'll say, pretty incredible miracle. No way Moshe Rabbeinu did not put 12 lugin. We'll say is not a lot, and yet there's more than enough oil. So the Gemara Shneimar Shemen Mishchas Chodesh Yezeh Lila Dorosechem. Zeh the Gematria Yud Beis Lugin. So we'll say, so Zeh in Gematria is 12. So Moshe Rabbeinu only produced 12 lugin, and yet amazingly enough, there was enough Shemen HaMishcha for all of that time historically and for the future as well. Tan Rabbanan. So we'll say, Neymar Natat the Shemen HaMishcha. Vayikach Moshe Shemen HaMishcha. Vayimshach es HaMishkan. He took the Shemen HaMishcha, the anointing oil, and he anointed the Mishkan. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Shemen HaMishcha she'asa Moshe b'midbar, harbe nisim na'asubo. The Shemen HaMishcha Moshe made in the midbar. Many miracles were done with it. Mitchilas avad sofo, lo haya ela yud beis lugin. But said there were only 12 lugin that he produced. Kama yore bolas, kama ikarin bolin, kama ha'or soref. Remember again, that's 12 lugin that of oil that Moshe Rabbeinu introduced. In other words, 12 lugin of oil that he poured over the roots. They're both saying that's not counting what? That's not counting ultimately that even if the roots themselves were saturated, there's some level of absorption. The oil is made with heat. That means some of it has to be absorbed into the pot. Some of it just evaporates with the fire. So even if you start out with 12 lugin of liquid, you don't end off with 12 lugin of shemen hamishcha. And yet what? V'nimshach mishkan, v'kelov, Aaron ubanav kol zayim me'amiluim, ubo nimshechu kohanim gidolim, umalachim. So we'll say, so again, so that's shemen hamishcha, again, miraculous shemen hamishcha. And we'll say, by the way, if you think about this just a moment, we don't really have time for this, but I'll show this just for a second. Why? Like, why do you need such a miracle like this? You know, so just let Moshe Rabbeinu go ahead and just produce a tanker of Shemen HaMishcha, right, and be done with it. What do you need the miracle of it, Abu Said? When is Shemen HaMishcha used? When is anointing oil used? Anointing oil is used for people in situations who have great destinies. The Kohen Gadol, the Melech, great people who have to accomplish great things. We'll say it's always important to remember that if you're going to accomplish great things in life, you never do that on your own. You can't accomplish great things, you can't seize your destiny without the Ribono Shel Olam as your partner. That's just the way that it works. And so perhaps the whole miracle of the Shemen HaMishcha is the anointing oil. You anoint, the Sefer HaChinuch brings this down, you anoint someone when you show that this person has a particularly unique destiny. So we anoint them with miracle oil, as if to show, if you're going to accomplish something great in life, the only way you do it is if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is your partner. So the Gemara says, "Va'afilu Kohen Gadol bein Kohen Gadol Tom Mashiach." What's the interesting halacha? Even a Kohen Gadol, the son of a Kohen Gadol, requires anointing with oil. Vein Moshchin Melech by Melech. Rabbi says, as much as you have to anoint a Kohen Gadol, the son of a Kohen Gadol, you don't have to anoint the king, the son of a king. It's interesting, right? By monarchy, which I will say we're going to see, the logic actually is quite obvious. The Kuna Gidol is not a hereditary position. It's not hereditary, right? The son of the Kohen Gadol he's first in line if he's worthy, but it's not hereditary. Malchus, monarchy, is absolutely hereditary. Therefore, if the son of the king is fit to become king, he becomes king. He doesn't need additional anointing. Vim Tomar, but 1 second, Mipnei Ma Mashchu es Shlomo, but Shlomo was anointed, even though again he was the son of David, Mipnei Machlokes Adonio, because the throne was contested. So Shlomo was anointed as a public display that ultimately, again, the monarchy was his, but he didn't really need to be anointed. Furthermore, again, Ves Yehoash Mibnei Asalya. We're going to discuss these different. Yehoash was also anointed. Why? Because Asalya was killing out all of the male members of the Davidic line. Furthermore, again, as we're going to see, Asalya's father was not a king. So therefore, again, we'll say ultimately, again, even though Asalya was part of the Davidic line, nevertheless, halacha l'maaseh salat to be anointed. Ves Yehoachaz Mibnei Yehoyakim. Yehoachaz was anointed. Why? Because he had an older brother who technically should have been in line for the throne before him. Again, we'll discuss all these cases. Right? We'll say first wide line. Aramar, Vafilu Kohen Gadol ben Kohen Gadol Toy Mashiach Minal. And we'll say, how do I know that the Kohen Gadol, the son of a Kohen Gadol, requires anointing? Dichsiv VaKohen HaMashiach Tachtav Mibanav. Because we'll say the pasuk says the Kohen who is anointed underneath him from his sons. Why doesn't it just say Nemakra Va'koyin Shetachtav Mibanav My HaMashiach? Why does it have to bring in the word anointed? Hakamashon Lafilu Mibanav Hahuda Mashach Havikoyin Gadol Vilo Mashach Lo Havikoyin Gadol. We'll say therefore the Torah adds in Mashach to teach you that what? If the Kohen Gadol is anointed, he becomes the Kohen Gadol. If he's not anointed, he does not become the Kohen Gadol. Amar Mar Ein Moshchin Melech ben Melech. So how do I know? So everyone say that, and that is indeed halacha l'maisa. So we'll say that is halacha l'maisa. That a Kohen Gadol, so the Rambam paskins, even if he is the son of a Kohen Gadol, still requires anointing. What about a king? How do I know that the king, the son of a king, does not require anointing? Because also the pasuk says that he should have arichos yomim on his throne, on his mamlacha, his kingship, he and his sons. Yerushahi. So you see from here that Rabbi say that ultimately, again, monarchy is hereditary. And therefore, again, halacha l'maisa, therefore, again, if this, as again, is assuming the son is worthy. If the son is worthy, he's an extension of his father, and therefore halacha l'maisa does not require an independent act of anointing. So Yerushi, Shlomo. So why was Shlomo anointed? His father was David. He didn't need Mashiach. Because it was, remember again, David HaMelech is on his deathbed at the end of Malachim Beis. And what happens? And what Malachim Aleph? And what happens? Adoniyo ben Chagis misnas leimor ani emloch. He says, I'm going to be the king. I'm going to be the king. So because there was this dispute, they had to coronate Shlomo. So say, from where do we know that where there's machlokis about who's going to fill the throne, that we anoint the king? V'lo kol de boy malka moris le malchusa, and it's not just enough for the king to designate his heir. Amra papa amakra bekerev Yisrael bizman sheshalom b'Yisrael. We'll say only when there's shalom is it enough for the king to name his successor. But if there's not shalom, then an act of anointing is necessary to designate the successor. Tana, af Yehu ben Nimshi lo nimshach al mimnei machlokes Yoram ben Achov. Both say similar again. Yehu ben Nimshi was only anointed because it was machlokes about Yoram ben Achov. Right? Someone else wanted the throne. Now we'll say. Now we're going to see. Walamai seifok lei de melech rishonu. But one second. Yehu ben Nimshi. Both say. Now remember, this is Malchus Yisrael. Right, this is a little bit different, right? This is now the kingdom of Israel, not the kingdom of Judah. This is after the split kingdom, after Rechavam. So also the Gemara says, but one second, Yehu ben Nimshi has to be anointed for a different reason, because Yehu ben Nimshi was the first king. His father was not king, therefore he should require anointing. This is what it means to say. Malchus based David Moshkin. I will say first of all, let's get our kingdom straight. Davidic kings, right, are anointed with Shem and Amishcha. Malchei Yisrael ein moshchin. Kings over Malchus Yisrael Bosai are not anointed. V'im tomar mipnei ma mashchu Yehu ben Nimshi. But one second, Yehu ben Nimshi was anointed. He was a Melech Yisrael. He was king over the Malchus Yisrael. Why was he anointed? Mipnei machlokes. Mipnei machlokes Yoram ben Achov. Ultimately, again, because of the machlokes of Yoram ben Achov. Amar Mar. Malchi based David Moshchin, vein Malchi Yisrael Moshchin. Minal, and I will say, how do I know that only Davidic kings, right? Malchus based David, right? Malchus Yehuda are anointed, but Malchus Yisrael does not. T'chsev kum mishacheu kizehu. Get up and anoint him. Talking about David HaMelech, because this is the one. Zeh tal Mashiach, vein achar tal Mashiach. It is only kings of David HaMelech, Malchus is David, who get anointed. Other kings do not. One second, Aramar. I don't understand. So you just got finished telling me that it's only Davidic kings who are anointed with Shem and Mishcha. Yet, what did you just say? You just said that ultimately, again, that Yehu, who was a Melech Yisrael, was anointed because of the machlokes with Yoram ben Achov. So now I will say, if only Davidic kings are anointed with Shem and Mishcha, you just tell me that you just anointed Yehu, which means that what? You used Shem and Mishcha on a Melech Yisrael. Isn't that Me'ilah? How can you do that? I will say, by the way, there's even a bigger Shaila. Who else was anointed? Shaul. Shaul was also anointed. Shaul was not a Davidic king. So how are you using ultimately again the Shem and HaMishcha ultimately again on these kings? Kedam Rapapa Ba'afars Madachya. Hachanai Ba'afars Madachya. We'll say, here's what's interesting. When they anointed kings over Malchus Yisrael, which they did not use Shem and HaMishcha. What did they use? Balsam oil. Shem and HaFars Madachya. Balsam oil. So we'll say, so interestingly enough, anointing was done for all kings. For Davidic kings, they used Shem and HaMishcha. For everyone else, they used balsam oil. Shaul was used balsam oil, the Gemara says. Yeah, not your Shem and HaMishcha, not anointing oil. I will say another example of a king. Yehoachaz was anointed with, I will say, and remember again, Yehoachaz is also anointed because he had an older brother, Yehoiakim. His brother was older than him, Shtei Shanim. Umi Kashish, was he really older? So the Gemara says, V'haksiv, Ubnei Yoshio HaBachar, Yochanan, Habachar Yochanan, right? The sons of Yoshio. The other son was Yochanan. Hasheni Yehoyakim, Vashlishi Tzidkiyo, Haravi'i Shalom. These are the sons. Vam Rabbi Yochanan. Hu Yehoachaz, Hu Tzidkiyo, Hu Shalom. Well, Rabbi Yochanan said something very interesting. That Yehoachaz, Tzidkiyo, and Shalom are all the same people. Ela Li'olam Yehoyakim Kashish. But in reality, Yehoyakim was older. Va'amai Karle Bechar. So why is he called the Bechar? Shu Bechar LeMalchus. Ultimately, again, he was the firstborn from Malchus. Omi Mukmina Zute Kame Kashisha. Why would we appoint a younger son above the older son from Malchus? Vaksiv Ves HaMamlocha Nosan Yehoram Kiu Abachar Hahu Memali Makam Avosav Hava. He ultimately again was filling the role of his father. Amar Mar Hu Shalom Hu Tzidkiyo V'Hu B'Dari Kachashiv. I don't understand. But how do you say that these are all the same people when the pasuk itself is being explicit and saying this one, reckoning them as one as being older than the next? Umay karili shlishi, shu shlishi lebanim. Why does it call him number 3? He was a third-born son. Umay karili revi. So why does it call him number 4? Shu revi lemalchus. Because most say he was a third-born son, but he was the 4th of the children to become king. The malach Yechanya kameh. Because ultimately, again, Yechanya, his brother, became king before he did. Betchila Malach Yoachaz. First Yoachaz was king. V'sof Malach Yoyakim. Then Yoyakim. V'sof Malach Yechanya. Then Yechanya. V'sof Malach Tzidkiya. Good. Tana Rabbanan. Who's Shalom and Tzidkiya? It will say Shalom and Tzidkiya were the same people. But Lama Nikra Shmo Shalom. Why was Tzidkiya called Shalom? Shahaya Shalom B'Masav. Was it because he was complete in his actions? So Shalom was a descriptive name. Tzidkiyahu was his real name. Davar Acher, Shalom Shishilim Malchus based on Niyam. But the other possibility he was called Shalom. Why? Because ultimately, again, the Davidic kingdom ended in his days. Tzidkiyahu was the last of the Davidic kings. Umashmo, what was his real name? Matanya Shmo. Shene Emar. Vayimlech melech Bavalas Matanya Dodo Tachtov, that Nebuchadnezzar appointed Matanya as the king. Vayosef Shmo Tzidkiyo. And also, interestingly enough, so it was Nebuchadnezzar who changed Matanya's name to Tzidkiyo. Why did he change his name to Tzidkiyo? The Amarlo Ka Yatztich Alecha Es Hadin in Timrod B. God should execute his judgment against you if you rebel against me. So I say something amazing enough. His name was Matanya. Nebuchadnezzar changed his name to Tzidkiyo as a descriptive name. In other words, he made Matanya take an oath that he would not rebel against Nebuchadnezzar. Shene Emar, Vayiviyah Bavelo Ksiv, V'gam B'melech Nebuchadnezzar Marad, Asher Yishbir Elokim. We'll say ultimately again, Tzidkiyo rebels against, he does rebel against Nebuchadnezzar, and Nebuchadnezzar holds him responsible ultimately for that rebellion. So the Gemara says, Omi hava shemen hamishcha. Rabbi said, this is incredible Gemara. Was there shemen hamishcha? Rabbi say, now the Gemara made it sound like what? The Gemara made it sound like that the shemen hamishcha that Moshe Rabbeinu created lasted until when? Through all of the kings, all of the Kahanim Gedolim, and what? They're still left over for Mashiach. So the Gemara says, did they have Shemen HaMishcha in the time of Yehoachaz? After Rabbi said, listen to this incredible Gemara. Vatanya, Mishe Nignaz Aron, when the Aron, the ark, was hidden away, Nignaz Tzinsenas Haman, Utzluchis Shemen HaMishcha, Umaklo Shel Aron Shkediyah Upracheha, V'argaz Sheshigru Plishtim Daron Le'elokei Yisrael Shneemar, Ves Klei Hazav Asher Heshivosim Lo Asham Tisimeo Ba'argaz Mitzido. So we'll say, listen to this. We'll say, amazingly enough, this Gemara understands that there were certain items that were hidden away. What was hidden away? The ark, right? The Aron Habris, together with a jar of nun, the flask of anointing oil, the staff of Aaron, which was from the belly of Korach, with its flowers and its almonds, as well as the golden pieces that the Plishtim sent back when they sent back the Aron. And who hid the Aron away? Umi Ganzo, Yoshio Melech Yehuda Ganzo. Shnei Amar, V'yomer Melech ala Kohanim, Tenuas Aron HaKodesh, V'amar Lazar, Asya Shem Shem, Asya Sham Sham, Asya Doros Doros, Asya Mishmeres Mishmeres, So I will say, so listen to this. So you see over here that what? Yoshio, who preceded again Yehoachaz. Yoshio is, remember again, before the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash. Yoshio already hid these things away. So if he hid these things away, how was Yehoachaz, who came after Yoshio, how was he anointed with Shemen HaMishcha? To which the Gemara says, Amra Papa, Ba'afar Samadachya. Boil some oil. Boil some oil. You're right. Already I will say, so first I just want to point out, I will say, first I have to tell you, I spoke about this on Tisha B'Av, in the afternoon show. I will say, so you understand the incredible part about this Gemara? You understand the incredible part of this Gemara? The Aron is on the Harabayis. The Aron is in the Harabayis. The Aron is there. The Aron is there. The flask of manna is there. The flask of anointing oil is there. The staff of Aaron is there. It's all there on the Harabayis. It's there. It's mamish there. We think about the restoration of the Beis HaMikdash and the ingathering of all these things. They are there. They're just sitting, waiting for Mashiach to come and ultimately again unearth them. Now, I will tell you, there is an alternate Gemara. The other Gemara says, we're going to see it, the other Gemara says that in fact it's not there. That the Aron was Nigla leBavel. That the Aron was actually taken out by Nebuchadnezzar. It was Nigla to Bavel, and from Bavel wherever else it went. So there is a historical debate. What happened to the Aron? Was the Aron exiled with the Jews, or is the Aron buried on Harabai? So I will say, but you see that this Gemara says it's clearly there together with all these other items. Incredible, incredible. Tan Rabbanan, Moshchenes Hamalachim Kiminez. I will say, we'll at least begin this. You go out and when you anoint kings, we'll say, how do you anoint kings? You take the Shemen HaMishcha and you smear it around their head like a crown. Smear it like a circle and like a crown. That's Sakanu Kimin Ki. And with the Kohanim, you do it like the Greek letter Ki, which both says like an X. Right? With the Kohanim, you make an X on their forehead. Kiram Nashe Kimin Ki Yavani. Tani Chada B'tchila Matzik Shazai. So we'll have to stop. We'll pick up a Meretz with this Gemara tomorrow. I will say, just have to tell you, just coming attractions. I will say this week, most incredible dapping. Coming attractions, we're going to be doing the sugya of Simna Milsa. Simna Milsa, Rosh Hashanah. Right? About significant omens, right? Eating important foods. That's, I believe, tomorrow's daf. Or the next day. Either I will say, just come, because every day, literally every single day, it's going to be incredible Gemaras. Agarata, halacha, we're going to laugh, we're going to cry, mamish, everything you want out of Gemara, we're going to have in these sugyas. Shkoyach.